Good morning. It's Thursday, June the 12th. Good to have you with us on Up to the Minute. We're live at the HCC TV studios on this wet Thursday morning. I'm Todd Duplantis, and you can stay dry and in your office and watch this show for the next half hour. My co-host this morning, Linda Davis with the Northeast College. Good to see you, Linda.
Top of this rainy morning to you too, Todd.
Oh, it's crazy out there. It's messy, but I've got to admit, most of us made it into work today. We were able to drive in safely. It's just very wet, very rainy across the city, and I guess it could be that way for the rest of the day.
Well, we did, and we drove very slow. At least I
Yeah,
did.
it took a little longer, but the good thing about it is you can watch this show while you're high and dry inside your office, and that's why we're here. In fact, we want to thank everyone who's watching us on Facebook Live and YouTube. We're here every Monday through Friday, just about when HCC is in session, and of course, they can always catch us on social media, Linda, and on our cable channel as well.
Absolutely. We're live on Houston Community College's district Facebook page, not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and HCC TV at noon, 5 and 10, Monday through Friday.
That's right. Okay, Linda, you're going to be interviewing this next guest. It's Thursday Family Fun Day, and we're welcome back the muralist we've featured in our documentary Juneteenth. HCC celebrates freedom through the arts. Reginald Adams is an installation artist, and he was also on our HCC TV special. He's our guest this morning. Good to see you, Reginald. How's it going?
Great to be here, Todd, and thanks again for the opportunity to talk about the things I love.
Yeah, well, we love your art and we appreciate what you're doing. And it's if you haven't caught the show, you can watch it on HCC TV. It's also on our YouTube channel. And Reg, Linda's going to be with you in about 10 minutes.
Very well. Thank you, Todd.
All right, we're going to kick things off. You know, over the past several years, especially during the time of COVID, respiratory therapy really came to the forefront because when people caught COVID, so many people were having breathing problems and we needed respiratory therapists. That is still the case, and we've got an award-winning program here at HCC. Dr. Herbert Jackson is the Respiratory Therapy Program Director of HCC Coleman College for Health Sciences. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Jackson. Good to see you.
Hey, Todd, good to see you. Linda, good to be here. It's always a pleasure to join you guys on this wonderful forum.
Well, we want to ask you about this field. I know it's a high demand field, well paying. But first we get to this. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to HCC.
So I've been a respiratory therapist for the better part of 3 decades. And I initially wanted to do physical therapy and somehow found my way into respiratory therapy. When I got into respiratory therapy, I just fell in love with it. Fell in love with treating patients, fell in love with seeing patients getting better, the joy that their family members have with them getting better, and the skills that it took to become a great practitioner. It just fell in love with it. I actually am a graduate of Houston Community College. I received my associate degree from Houston Community College. So I thought it would be a good idea to come back and teach. Just so happened in the moment in time, they had an opening. I had a special skill set, so they hired me. So I've been in HCC ever since.
Well, you know, as I mentioned at the top of this segment, we seem to learn about the need of respiratory therapists back in the time of COVID. But this profession obviously has been around way before COVID. Tell us exactly a little bit more about what a respiratory therapist does and why you would recommend this occupation.
So it's, again, and thank you for the intro. In most cases, there's not a lot of press about respiratory therapy. The most of the press that you hear about nurses and physicians, but respiratory therapists work hand in hand with the nurses and the physicians at the bedside. Most hospitals cannot run without a respiratory therapy department. Our job is, in any case, to treat the patient. It doesn't matter what disease or what illness. Most people, when you think of respiratory, they think of, oh, I'm just going to treat the patient's lungs. We do not. If your lungs fail, your kidneys fail, your liver fail, your brain fails, if you have issues with any of your organs that's prohibiting gas exchange, then respiratory therapies is on the forefront of treating you. We intubate you. We place you on a mechanical ventilator. If you're on the floor and you're having issues with asthma, we provide you with breathing treatment. So we have the full spectrum of treatment under our umbrella. In our program, it's a 2-year associate degree program. We always discuss that HCC respiratory program is a good bang for the buck. And what I mean by that, your tuition for this program may be around about $10,000 for 2 years. But once you up on graduation, all of our graduations are attractive. Are attractive to the workforce. We have a very good name inside the med center, inside the surrounding areas, because those areas where we send our students at for clinicals. So when students complete the program, they are very attractive candidates for jobs. They're very sought off for jobs. A lot of our students now that are in the program, first semester, second semester, fifth semester, they already have jobs in hospitals as student workers. So it's a excellent program, and it's an excellent field, and the field in itself is just growing.
Do you see an increase in people wanting to be respiratory therapists after COVID, after learning more about this?
Todd, I would say yes, because that's our conversation that we're about. Even, again, a lot of people didn't know about respiratory therapists but when COVID came, it opened up a lot of eyes because, we were on the forefront of treatment for patients with COVID, and we still are on the forefront of treatment, and we always have been on the forefront of treatment. So yes, there is a rise in application. There's a rise in knowledge of our profession and what we do as respiratory therapists. More people see that, I think I want to do that, or I want to enroll and become a respiratory therapist.
Speaking of enrollment, I know most of HCC has year-round enrollment for all courses. Coleman's a little bit different. What are the application deadlines? Are you accepting applicants for the fall? Do you have one cohort a year, two? How does that work?
So in our program specifically, we have one cohort that enters every fall. Our application deadline, unfortunately, has passed. Application deadline was June 2nd. So we accept applications year-round, but after June 2nd is when we start evaluating the application. So at this point, our next cohort will be the fall of 2025. So we are in the process now of evaluating the applications that we do have in order to enroll the cohort. Applicants that are not accepted in this cohort, we always recommend that they reapply, and then that they reapply for the next cohort, because there's a great opportunity for them to be able to get in the program for the following fiscal year.
Let me ask you this. What advice do you have I know a lot of parents are going to be returning kids in the fall, and I've got to say, I've had COVID a couple times, no big deal.
Yeah.
It wasn't a problem. Right now, I've had this respiratory infection that's lasted for a couple of weeks. I don't run a fever. It's still coughing like crazy. Everybody I come in contact with gets sick. It seems like we have all these wild variants that are running around out there. What advice do you have to people? I mean, parents are going to send their kids back in the fall, and it seems right now, at least, because everybody I know is getting sick, that there is some type of respiratory illness that's running around. How do you combat that, and what do you suggest to parents?
So what you're discussing, Todd, it's more of an air quality issue, and it's irritating your lungs, your bronchos, and different things of that nature. So you're not the only one that's dealing with that. Some of us have seasonal allergies where because of the change in air quality, the heat, and all those different things, it kinds of cause you to have certain or specific issues related to you. So what I would, and this is what I always recommend to all my friends, all my family. If your kids are getting ill, running a fever, sneezing, running eyes, and you've tried to treat it with over-the-counter medication, children's Tylenol, children's Zyrtec, different things of that nature. If after about 3 days there's not an improvement in your child's condition, then you should reach out to your pediatrician. And now they can do teleconferencing, they can do all different things. What I recommend is that don't wait too long. And that's not just for kids, Todd. That's for adults also. Sometimes
Right.
we're a little bit stronger. So we think, okay, well, I just got a little cough, a little bit of sneeze. I'm coughing up a little bit of mucus. The problem is over time, that mucus can turn into an infection and you can develop pneumonia and you can get really, really sick. So, my recommendation always, if you treat most cases, we know our bodies and we know the time of year that we start to feel bad. But if you're treating yourself with over-the-counter medication and after about 3 days, there has not been a change, it's getting worse, you need to go see your physician because you do not want to get to where the condition puts you into the hospital. So
Does that have anything to do with the Saharan dust that's been in the area?
Dust is in fine particles. So yes, dust. Dust, I actually did research on dust. Yes, because you inhale dust. So yeah, I'm sure that there's probably a few studies out there in reference to the Sahara dust and how it affects our lungs. But yes, that thick cloud in the air when you walk outside, that will, in some forms of fashion, have an effect on you.
Well, good. There's end in sight. That dust is not going to be around here forever. So there's some end in sight and hope for all of us.
And it's not here today because all of this rain, we didn't got rained out. So
maybe we'll get some relief with that.
I hope so.
Dr. Herbert Jackson, Respiratory Therapy Program Director of HCC Coleman College for Health Sciences. Thanks for being here. We're going to have all your information in our social media post after the show. Thanks, Dr. Jackson.
Todd, thank you for having me, sir.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. We're back in 60 seconds. We're going to meet an artist who was featured in our Juneteenth special you can catch on HCC TV. That's coming up in 60 seconds.
I'm learning healthcare management while providing patient care.
I came back to grow my skills, even after I graduated.
And if I can't make it in person, I take my classes online.
I'm learning healthcare management while providing patient care.
I came back to grow my skills, even after I graduated.
And if I can't make it in person, I take my classes online.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Moving on to Reginald Adams. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Reginald Adams is our installation artist who is featured in HCC TV's documentary special, Juneteenth. HCC celebrates freedom through the arts. And our family fun day guest. Welcome back to the show, Reginald.
Oh, so glad to be here, Linda. Thank you.
Well, we're just going to dive right in because it's wet and we got a lot to talk about. The Absolute Equality Juneteenth mural series began in Galveston, the birthplace of Juneteenth. Can you share the inspiration behind launching this project and what it symbolizes for you personally and for the broader community?
Absolutely, Linda. So the mural that Linda's referencing, the Absolute Equality Juneteenth mural in Galveston, is the mural that's my backdrop. It's also the mural that's featured on this T-shirt. But the project came out of an interest, a strong passion from within the Galveston community. A group of Galveston residents came together, organized themselves, created an organization which now is known as the Juneteenth Legacy Project. And it was spearheaded by Sam Collins, who's a historian in the Galveston area, and Sheridan Lorenz, who saw an opportunity There had been some things happening in Galveston around social justice and police brutality issues. So they thought, what better opportunity than to create a work of art, a mural in this case, that would celebrate Juneteenth, especially the significance it has to the island. And so in the fall of 2020, in September 2020, I distinctively remember getting a call from Sam Collins, and he had introduced himself, what they were looking for, and invited me to come to Galveston to see the site, which was this 5,000 square foot blank wall. And at that time, that was the largest public art installation I'd been involved in. So it was a little overwhelming. I have to admit, when I got there, I was like, whoa, like, okay. And then on top of the size of the wall was the size of the opportunity. Juneteenth, which is now a national holiday.
Right.
And mind you, in September of 2020, it wasn't. Right. So this work of art came to life, was birthed at the cusp of a national holiday being finally recognized after many years. Many years of people like late State Representative Al Edwards, who became the first state legislator to make Texas recognize Juneteenth. People like Opal Lee, who we recognize as the grandmother of Juneteenth, walking across the country to sign petitions to get Juneteenth, and so many more people, freedom fighters, which I call them. And so my learning journey was to understand who had been here doing this work. What were these moments in time? What were these historical artifacts that would make this mural become an outdoor classroom? And so thanks to the wisdom of the folks on the island, we turned that 5,000 square foot wall into this visual narrative that covers about 500 years of American history.
Wow, I tell you, that is really great. And from what I'm understanding, we're going to be airing a new version of this next week for Juneteenth. So we want to thank you for lending your talents to our program. And also, we wanted to find out from you, how do you go about choosing the cities and the themes for each of your murals? Because I understand you have over 400. So is there a process?
All over the world. Yeah. It's multi-pronged, Linda, in that some opportunities were called upon, right? We're invited. We have a project that we're starting now in Austin, where we were invited to work on, invited to submit for our qualifications for a really wonderful project. We have a similar opportunity in Garland, Texas right now. But then there's some opportunities that are driven by our studio. And so with the Juneteenth legacy or Juneteenth mural, once the holiday was set in stone, I saw an opportunity to take this story of Juneteenth across the US. And so since 2022, we've now worked in 15 different markets, creating Juneteenth inspired murals under the umbrella of absolute equality, because every city has its own story of freedom and emancipation during that window of time. And so we get to commission local artists, work with local communities, and tell a localized story of Juneteenth. And that's a situation where we create the opportunity. We're not waiting for a call. Great. We're initiating it out of our own passion.
That is really great. So what role do you believe public art plays in shaping a city's identity and collective memory, particularly historically underrepresented or undeserved communities?
Well, Linda, these communities oftentimes are overlooked and underserved because there may not be of affluence. It might not be the right demographic who has the strong voting power. And so these are social factors that sometimes drive art to certain areas of town. And at the same time, there's artists who are passionate about expressing themselves through public art. So you end up having graffiti and street art because the artists are going to do art, right? And so where we have an opportunity to bring the work into a community, like Galveston, right? Many people, if you're in Texas, you know about Galveston. Perhaps if you're in the surrounding area,
Right.
you visit it. But the broader nation of the United States, Galveston isn't a hot spot. And this project, I have watched Galveston take on an identity on an international scale, because now people begin to recognize it as the birthplace of Juneteenth. And with this mural as the poster of that, poster child of that, I'm seeing the power of public art and how it affects these communities.
Excellent. Well, we're almost out of time, but I want to know what's next for Absolute Equality Initiative.
Well,
are there future collaborations, installations, or cities on the horizons that we could be looking for?
That's right. We have many projects underway. The most immediate right now is the work we're doing right here in Houston with the Human Shelter Project. The Bloomberg Public Art Challenge has commissioned 7 artists in Houston. I'm one of them. We have a mural that will be in Midtown at the Breakfast Club, really just shining the spotlight on unhoused and the homeless in Houston in a really positive way. And that's part of this absolute equality narrative. So that's the immediate, but we have many cities that are lined up to come. And I'm excited that you all are willing to help us share this story.
Well, we're excited to have you, and we can't wait to see what you do next. And we want to thank you, Reginald Adams, installation artist featured in our HCC documentary called Juneteenth. HCC celebrates freedom through the arts, and our Thursday Family Fun Day guest. Check out the information and the post after the show. And we'll be right back. Hold on, don't go anywhere. It's raining anyway. We'll be right back, Todd and I, with more news and announcements.
Thank you.
I'm learning healthcare management while providing patient care.
I came back to grow my skills, even after I graduated.
And if I can't make it in person, I take my classes online.
When a child is sick, there's one thing they need: a really big cookie.
Welcome to RMHC.
We're not big on poking sticks and beeping machines, but we're the best at playing dress up. We think the Tooth Fairy should travel everywhere, and while hospitals have doctors and nurses, we have mom and dad. Because at Ronald McDonald House Charities, we help families feel at home, even when they can't be.
Where I come from, they call firefighters the bravest. My dad was one. We lost him 3 years ago. First Responders Children's Foundation gave me a scholarship so that I can become a nurse and help people just like my dad did.
Help us help them.
Welcome back to Up to the Minute. We're live at the HCCTV studios. Once again, we've got some news and announcements of things happening across the district. One of them, Donuts for Dads, Sweets for Fathers. Look for the Student Life mobile cart to greet students to enjoy coffee and donuts while learning about HCC's Parents Resources. It's 9 to 11 a.m. today. So it's going on right now till 11, June 12th, of course, at the HCC East Side Student Life Mobile Cart. It's around campus. Check them out, grab some free donuts and some coffee. We've also got an engineering network event, Linda.
Yes, we'll be passing the torch, the Engineering Network event. HCC Society of Petroleum Engineers, along with the National Society of Black Engineers and the American Society of Mechanical Engineers Petroleum Division, will host a Pass the Torch Scholarship and Awards Dinner at 6 p.m. Friday, June 13th. That's tomorrow. And it will be in Northeast, where I live. Don't be afraid. Come out. We'll have more information in the post after the show.
We go from the Northeast College down to the Southwest College. The GI60 Summer Drama Practicum. They're having with Screaming Media Productions. They're working on presenting the annual GI60 Houston, featuring selected 1-minute plays from around the world. They'll be performed by our drama students. 7:30 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday, July the 2nd and 3rd. It's at the HCC Southwest Fine Arts Center. That's out at the Stafford campus. It is free. Check our post for more info after the show. And we've got Eagle Promise dollars available to high school seniors.
Absolutely. Eagle Promise. Some can earn their degree for free, and you know we like free. Eligible high school students are encouraged to apply to the Eagle Promise program. If they qualify and their grants and scholarships don't cover costs of an HCC degree or certificate, Eagle Promises will pay for tuitions, fees, and a book allowance for up to $500 each semester. Deadlines to apply, September the 30th. Check out the post for more information after the show.
We were talking about Juneteenth. Well, that's coming up next week, and we'll have a holiday on that day. It is Thursday. It commemorates the 160th anniversary of Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day. Since it's next Thursday, no up to the minute that day, and HCC campuses will be closed. We'll return Thursday, June 19th, or actually, it should say Friday, June 20th, Thursday, June 19th. That's the day we'll be off for Juneteenth. Fall registration's underway along with some summer classes as well.
Absolutely. Fall registration has opened. What are you waiting for? Get on it now. It's time to be thinking about fall classes, or you still have time to look into summer classes to help stay on track. HCC classes are still offered in a variety of programs, semester lengths, and range of modalities, including online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, in-person, hybrid labs, and learn more about our HCC programs and start dates and options to cover costs at hccs.edu.
So tomorrow's show, it's Film Friday, and we'll welcome back our award-winning filmmaker who also instructs here at HCC, Jenny Waldo. She recently premiered at the Latino Film Festival, but has 2 more productions to talk about. And speaking of awards, next week's HCC's Grammy winner, Nate Robinson of the music faculty, will be here for Music Monday. So a lot coming up in the next in the next week at least. Thanks for being here, Linda. We'll see you next week or the week after, because next week is Juneteenth. So we'll see you the week after that. All right. Thank you all for being here. We'll be back tomorrow live with Up to the Minute at 10 a.m.